of the Betfred Midlands Grand National. Let's check him out. Number 1 is Tamarind Blue. When he was third last time out, he had 3 horses behind him who all went on to win at Cheltenham. That is some form. 2 doesn't run, 3 Ralca de Farges. Well, Richard Johnson's won it before. Philip Hobbs has won it 3 times, once as a jockey. 4 is Connacht. Dennis O'Regan rides for Victor Dartnell. He's got a good chance here, I think. He'll stay all day. 5, Clash Duff was withdrawn this morning. 6 is Mohair. We're going to talk to John Joe very soon. He's won 2 out of 3. John Joe, of course, the man who trains Gold Cup winners. Number 7, Maringo Bay. Charlie Mann. He's trained the horse for this race. Noel Feely on board. Number 8, Mr. Moss. Second at Doncaster, up in trip for Paul Maloney and the Welsh trainer Evan Williams. 9 is Major Malarkey. A wee bit disappointing, but Nigel Twiston-Davis and Sam Twiston-Davis know all about staying chasers, and Ballyfitz also represents them, the 12-year-old. Number 11 is Chamery. This is a nice horse from the Donald McCain stable. They know all about Grand Nationals. Number 12, the Irish Raider, another palm, the grey. Saw him this morning. It is St. Patrick's Day. 13 is Ballyfoy. Good second at Sandown, Dougie Costello, Cheltenham winning jockey for Gary Moore. 14, Master Overseer, Tom Scudamore. This horse won the Sussex National 2 years ago. 15 is Honourable Arthur, and this one's ridden by Andrew Glastonbury. Victor Dartnell sends this up from the West Country. Number 16, many people's idea of the winner, Posh Bird, second in the Ida, Lucy Alexander on board for a man who rode this winner of this race, Peter Niven. Number 17 is Moe Rare. This is Charlie Huxley on board for the local trainer Barry Levy. I hear they've laid this one out for the race. And number 18 is Hills of Arran. Keith Goldsworthy trains this in Wales. Emilian Treadwell is on board at 50. Seem to have a very good record in this. Robbie Supple, who rode in this race many times, and brother of former flat jockey Willie Supple, is the man who's walking towards his rostrum. They've got 2 circuits to run. This is the Betfred Midlands Grand National. Absolute massive crowd. It's Uttoxeter's big race of the year. There's going to be a massive cheer when the tapes go up. So let's join the commentator on the race, Stuart Machin.
Robbie Supple strides up the steps. Starter is ready for them. About to be called in. And here they come. And they're off for the 2012 Betfred Midlands Grand National, with 3 circuits in front of them, 24 fences to jump, and the pipe-trained pair of Tamarind Bleu with the noseband and Master Overseer are the first 2 to show up. They're tracked into the opening turn by Honourable Arthur. Maringo Bay in the green cap is close up. The other end of the field, Lucy Alexander, the white jacket with the green cap aboard Posh Bird, has got a couple behind. Mr. Moss and Mahia are those 2. So across the far side they go, and to the first of these 24 fences, Master Overseer and Tamarind Bleu. Draw to it together to Chameray wide of Honourable Arthur. The leaders stepping over it safely and watching the rest stream out over it, with Mahia the last one to reach the other side. Take 4 over in the back straights on this occasion. Tamarind Bleu from Master Overseer, Honourable Arthur racing keenly just in behind them, the black and white jackets, and then Chameray with the yellow sleeves and cap, followed over by Major Malarkey, Mohai Rahire with a black cap. The darkest of the greys, Ralco de Farge, is tracking Maringo Bay, the purple and yellow jacket, going on towards the next on the far side, the third. Tamarind Bleu from Master Overseer, Honourable Arthur jumping well. Another palm meanwhile, another of the greys, green jacket for Paul Carberry in mid-division, just behind Ballyfoy and Ballyfitz, as they make the descent on the far side first time. Connacht held up by Dennis O'Regan in a dark sleeve jacket. And then Mahia, probably the lightest of the greys in the race. He's made a few places, going up past Posh Bird and Mr. Moss in the raw blue, and Hills of Arran at the tail of the field. Crossing the 4th, prodigious leap from Tamarind Bleu, and watching the rest safely to the other side. So the jumping in the back straight completed first time. Tamarind Bleu swings the next turn a couple of lengths clear. Posh Bird under a waiting ride from Lucy Alexander, last of the main group of runners, with only the driven along Hills of Arran behind. Hills of Arran not taking much interest in these still very early stages. So Tamarind Bleu under 11-12 minus young Tom Bellamy's £10 claim, leading his stable companion Master Overseer Tom Scudamore away to the left. Chameray in the centre and Honourable Arthur tracking the leading pair. Then Major Malarkey in a yellow jacket in company with Roalco de Farge, Maringo Bay and Mohai Rahire. Ballyfoy in the pale green is away to the right, the darker green for another palm upside Ballyfitz, and then Mahir and Connacht as they take the ditch for the first time. Mr. Moss and Posh Bird, the next one's over, and finally Hills of Arran. And that rain, which was falling steadily at the start, coming down with a little more venom now, and just to make this even more of a test for all participants. Tamarin Bleu over in front there from Chamaret and Master Overseer. Still Posh Bird only with a couple behind. Mr. Moss, the noseband, waited with, and Hills of Arran on and off the bridle. So they bring up towards fence number 8, takes them to the end of a circuit. Tamarin Bleu just gotten a little tight to the top of that one, but over safely. Posh Bird was a bit untidy there, a bit scrappy on landing. So it's Tamarin Bleu from Master Overseer, Honourable Arthur Chamaret, Maringo Bay, Major Malarkey, the spotted jacket. Then the dark grey Royal Coat of Farsh and Ballyfoy up the fence. Mohai Rahire is wide. Mahea races next, and then Ballyfitz. So in turn is followed by another Palm and Connacht, and then Mr. Moss and Posh Bird and Hills of Arran. But they all race in touch, starting off across the back straight once more. And moving on now towards fence number 9. Master Overseer from Tamarin Bleu. Chamaret, the yellow cap, right behind them in 3rd. Still Honourable Arthur won't settle, lifted off in 4th there, just ahead of Maringo Bay. And Posh Bird still with just Hills of Arran behind, but not yet at halfway in the Betfred Midlands Grand National, approaching fence 10. Tamarin Bleu from Master Overseer, then Chamaret and Honourable Arthur. Maringo Bay, the green cap in the centre. Major Malarkey next, Oralco de Farge was reaching for it, just scattered the birch. Ballyfoy in the pale green, popping away quietly in midfield towards the far side. Mohai Rahire, followed there by Ballyfitz in the claret and blue. Closing in on fence 11. Tamarin Bleu jumping well, but so too Master Overseer. Ballyfitz a little slow there. Connacht under a typically patient ride from Dennis O'Regan, 3/4 of the way back from another Palm. And still Posh Bird is towards the rear end of the field, and has now dropped back to be last of all. Is not travelling with a great deal of momentum at the moment, you'd say. Has been passed by Hills of Arran. It's got Mr. Moss up ahead as well as they go towards the final fence in the back straight this time. So approaching halfway, it's Tamarin Bleu from Master Overseer, Honourable Arthur, and then Chamaret. Posh Bird the last one to touch down, still a little on and off the bridle, and they run downhill once more. So heading for the final 2 miles of the Midlands National. Tamarin Bleu and Master Overseer have been forcing the pace throughout. Chamaret close up in behind them. Then Honourable Arthur cutting the corner. Maringo Bay, the green cap, is in 5th. Major Malarkey, the yellow jacket, shadowed by Roalco de Farge. Then Mohai Rahire from Ballyfoy. Mahea is next. Another Palm under a waiting ride from Connacht as they take the first up the straight. Maringo Bay a bit untidy, so too Posh Bird in last place, preceded by Hills of Arran and Mr. Moss. So now onto the ditch for the second time. It's fence 14 on this occasion. Tamarin Bleu and Master Overseer. Honourable Arthur a bit untidy there, hit it hard, and Posh Bird is 3 lengths adrift of the others and just nudged back in to get onto the tail of Mr. Moss. So 2 more to jump up the straights this time, and then they go round and do it all over again. And Tamarin Bleu has got his white face just in front from Master Overseer, Roalco de Farge away to the left. Honourable Arthur on the right track there by Ballyfoy. Chamaret only a couple of lengths off them, and then Maringo Bay as they close in on fence 16. For real next time then, Tamarin Bleu and Master Overseer still the leading pair, and Posh Bird kicked the birch out of that one, disputing last with Mr. Moss, and the driven along Hills of Arran as they pass under the judge with 1 more circuit to go in the Betfred Midlands Grand National. Tamarin Bleu and Master Overseer, and there goes Posh Bird. Well, it's going to need to be one tough old bird to win from there, because Lucy Alexander is working away on the Peter Niven trained mare, who's still last behind Mr. Moss, Hills of Arran, and another Palm just in front of those. So on towards the 17th. Master Overseer, the yellow sleeve jacket, alongside stable companion Tamarin Bleu. They rise pretty much as one. Chamaret was right behind them. Mr. Moss in last place was a little untidy. And now they meander their way across the back straight once more. Fence 18 coming up to them, and still Alexander working away on Posh Bird. Ballyfitz is having some pressure applied, and Tamarin Bleu popping away in front, jumping soundly. Mr. Moss and Hills of Arran untidy. Honourable Arthur has been steadily losing ground. He's dropped to the tail, and Tamarin Bleu and Master Overseer press on from Chamaret. Maringo Bay, Major Malarkey, the yellow jacket, close up, jumps well there. Then Roalco de Farge from Ballyfoy. Connacht, the dark sleeve jacket for Dennis O'Regan on the move. Mo Hirahire's pushed along, then another of the greys, the lighter of the greys, Mahea, followed by another Palm and Ballyfitz and Mr. Moss, and a gap opening up to posh Burden Hills of Arran as they make the descent towards 5 from home in the Midlands National. Tamarind Blur and Master Overseer draw to it together, land pretty much as one, 3 lengths up on Major Malarkey. Johnson now starting to get a tune out of Roalco Defarge, goes up into 4th. Connacht under Dennis O'Regan is up into 5th place, and they begin the swing for home with just over the half-mile to travel and 4 left to jump. Few have landed a blow here, and it's still the pipe-train pair of Master Overseer and Tamarind Blur, the latter driven along. Major Malarkey right behind them in 3rd place, closing in, and then Roalco Defarge, Connacht and Chamaret, 4 out, and there it was Master Overseer, just shading it from Tamarind Blur. Major Malarkey still working into it under Sound Twist and Davis, and then Connacht the white face from Roalco Defarge, Chamaret and Ballyfoy. The final ditch, 3 from home, Master Overseer, joined by Major Malarkey. Tamarind Blur now with legs of jelly, then Roalco Defarge and Connacht who can't go on, and it's Major Malarkey who strides on down towards the second last from the game Master Overseer. The penultimate fence, Major Malarkey by a whisker, but Master Overseer won't lie down. He's back for more. They have a titanic tussle down towards the 24th and final fence in the Midlands National, all on the jumping then. Major Malarkey and Master Overseer as one. They start off up the run-in together. Major Malarkey the near side. Master Overseer simply will not lie down on the far side. They dive for the line together, and Skoo, at his strongest, gets home Master Overseer to win the Betfred Midlands Grand National. Major Malarkey in 2nd, Ballyfitz was in 3rd, Ballyfoy was in 4th, followed home by Roalco Defarge, Mo Hirahere and the rest.
A titanic struggle, a fantastic race. Master Overseer wins for Tom Scudamore and David Pipe. More about that after this.